everybody. Welcome to TED Talks Ball. We have a special Friday morning edition, a special Jordan Watkins edition. If you guys don't know who Jordan is, you can see his info on the banner below. Or, well, if I actually decided to play it, I had to make a correction on it and didn't put it back up. But yeah, there we go. Jordan Watkins at Big75Fella on Twitter and X. And you can find him also on the Sports Laugh and Chill Show on YouTube with Gina V, and of course Rod Callie, who I know well. And then there's some other, I guess Wise is on there now. It looks like, and another gentleman I'm not as familiar with, but all great folks and a great show. And just excited to have Jordan on. Jordan, let everybody know anything I may have missed, and anything, especially if you want to promote any upcoming shows or collaborations or anything like that. I want this to be a win-win for you to make sure that you get something out of being here with me today.
Oh, well, first and foremost, the thing that I get out of it is I get to talk football for an hour plus. So that's already a win for me. But no, like you said, shout out everybody, Sports Laugh and Chill, Gina, Rod. I see Rod's in the comments already too.
There you go.
Shout out to Wise, shout out to Unk, shout out to Dan. Our Patreon members, shout out to Miss Danielle, shout out to Miss Debbie. I see Shell's in the group. Shell, first off, I appreciate you for what you just said. For those who don't know, we lost my grandma on Wednesday, so been a pretty tough time. But all the love and support I've seen go my family's way. It's meant a lot. I really appreciate it, and this has been my escape, if you will, talking about sports, being around sports. So, like I said, I'm just happy to be here.
I hear you, and condolences on your grandma. Hope everyone in the family is okay.
Thank you.
I lost my last grandma about a year ago in September. She made it till 106. So,
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. The mayor and fire chief and everybody came by for her last birthday at 105, or second to last, I guess I should say. And she was pretty sharp right up to the end. It was crazy. She was like, "Hey, Ted, when are you going to lose some weight?" I'm like, "Ooh, grandma, he's back, Bango."
Straight to it, right?
Bango, because when I would fall down as a little kid, I was kind of clumsy. I had a big head, and I just fall over all the time trying to support it. And she would say, "Ted, go Bango." And so I was the first grandchild, so I just started calling her Bango, and then everybody called her Bango for many, many years. But her real name was Lucille. So R.I.P. Lucille, R.I.P. to your grandma.
Thank you.
Yeah, this can be therapeutic. Just getting out, talking to folks, talking a little football or any type of ball can be helpful. Red Jet saying thoughts are with you. We got Rod Callie saying what up, saying Danielle. And then we are multi-streaming to different channels. So make sure that if you're on my channel that you get over I guess it's on Twitter there. I got it. Okay, got it. Yeah. Anyway, make sure you get over Sports Laugh and Chill, give them a like and subscribe anyway. And I'll do my best to just show all of the different chats, but I may not respond to every single one. But awesome turnout today. Thanks everybody. The chat is popping. And Jordan, where would you like to start things off today? I mean, there's lots of things we can talk about. I was backstage. I was congratulating. For people who don't know, Jordan is an Atlanta Falcons fan. I guess you can tell. You have to be. You got the background. Yeah. So in case you weren't paying attention, Jordan is a Falcons fan. In case you weren't paying attention, I'm a 49ers fan. Kind of hard to tell, I know. But I was just congratulating you on first place in the NFC South. Obviously the Bucs were kind of close, and then they lost to the Bills last night. And I think the Saints about a game back or something like that.
Yeah, it's right around there. And the thing that's so frustrating, if you actually watch the Falcons and pay attention to them, they could be such a better team than what they are. That's what makes it so annoying. I know we're up, I think, half a game on Tampa. Well, now it might be a whole game up on Tampa. But even the game we just played against them, right? We won on a last second field goal by Younghoe Koo. We could have won that game by 16, 17 points. We should have. We had 2 fumbles at the 1 yard line. So it's just one of those things. And I think, as everyone knows, if you paid attention to the Falcons, you know about the Super Bowl that I don't like to talk about as much. We like to make things hard on ourselves. and that's still staying true.
There you go. Yeah, no, it and when the season started, I was like, man, the Falcons seem like they really revamped their D. They've got some weapons on offense, especially I'm blanking on your tight end's name, who you guys drafted. Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Bijan Robinson, who you guys drafted, and then you already had Tyler Algier, who was tearing it up all last season. And I was just like, they seem like they're just a quarterback away. How has Desmond Ridder been doing? And is that still sort of the case, or do you guys feel pretty good with him?
It's a mix. I'm still confident in Desmond. The thing for me is that, at least earlier in the year, I got upset and frustrated on how the offense was called. So it was more so on Arthur Smith than it was Desmond. Just giving him, opportunities to make things work and make things happen. Now, I think the last few weeks, the offense has opened up more. I mean, again, like even going into, I think this week, the last 3 weeks, Desmond Ridder had the second most passing yards in the NFL besides Patrick Mahomes. Right now, Desmond Ridder has the most passing yards in the NFC South. Now, you can look at who else or who are the other quarterbacks in the NFC South and say, oh, that's nothing, right? We're talking about Derek Carr. Who else is there? Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young. But still, that's something I don't think people would have expected to say. So we're opening it up now. Again, like I said, the turnovers that we had last week, they were fumbles, and the fumbles that happened, I don't expect them to show up very often or very consistently. So we can change that up. But so in the long run, I do still feel pretty confident in Desmond Ridder, especially how we've been able to move the ball the last week. I mean, we had over 400 yards against a very good Tampa Bay defense. So I'm feeling pretty good.
There you go. Like it. And the record reflects it, and hopefully that continues for your Falcons, no doubt. And who do you guys play this weekend?
We got Tennessee.
Tennessee, who should we call them Tankasy?
Yeah, you might, right? Like there might be no Tannehill. They just traded the safety Kevin Byard. So there is there's a chance that they might be just trying to get a good draft pick next year. We'll see. But that means you can't fall asleep on them. You got to beat them. No excuses.
There you go. No doubt about it. We got the Miss Gina V in the house.
There she is.
In the heezy, as she likes to say. Welcome. She's saying, what's up, Ted and Jordan? She's saying, what up, chat? The chat has been pretty popping. They took a little, they came out strong. They're taking a little breather, probably regrouping, getting ready for round 2 here. One thing I wanted to circle back to, Danielle was saying, Ted, get me that visor. I'm glad you liked it. It is kind of unusual because it's got the gray accent. I actually bought this one used on eBay. I bought a few used ones recently on eBay. There's like a black one that has like red and black all together. And then there's like a black one that has 2 logos. It has like an SF logo here and an SF logo out here on the bill as well too. I basically tried to buy 2 new ones, and I found them from the site that was kind of overpriced. Usually I try to pay between like $20 and $30 for a visor. And I found 2 for $43, and I was like, well, they're unique. And I'm like, I just talked myself into it. And they never showed up. So I'm like, forget it. I went to PayPal and, disputed the charge, got the money back. And I'm like, I'll just try these 3 used ones on eBay. And it worked out really well. But for the longest time, it was really hard to find visors, Niners visors. And it's kind of hard now that we're in season again. The best time to look, honestly, Danielle, is in the off season. That's when things come into, the stock goes up on things, and people aren't, the general public isn't looking to buy Niner stuff so much in the offseason. But I definitely bolstered my supply. I used to only have just like a white one and a black one, and now I've got like, I don't know, 11 or 12 different visors. So I try and keep them, rotating, cycling through on a regular basis. And I felt like this was a good time for this one. So I'm glad you like it, Danielle. But I'm looking to add, not drop any. I don't know, make me an offer. We'll see, but that'd be pretty high. So Let's see here. I liked Shell was saying, can we borrow your kicker, Jordan?
I mean, it's almost as if y'all had a kicker that was really good. You decided not to bring him back. So, no, you can't borrow ours.
I'll give you 5.5 million reasons why we didn't.
I know. But, hey, when it comes down to certain situations, you want a kicker that's as gold as money.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's true. He was incredible in the playoffs, never missed a kick or a PAT in the playoffs. I would just say that I'm not ready to write off young Jake Moody just yet. The 40-yard miss at the Vikings was troubling, but luckily Kyle went right back to him and let him bang one home from 55. I think that really helped. So we'll see. The ones in Cleveland don't bother me as much because of that notorious swirling wind there, and it was also rainy. He also did slip on the turf in Minnesota in pregame warmups, and Bryant said he slipped on the miss too, but they never really showed a replay of it. I still haven't gone back to rewatch the game yet. I need to do that before, hopefully before Sunday. It's tough to go rewatch a game after you're 2 games back.
Yeah,
but I will be there at Levi's on Sunday. Hopefully to see Brock Purdy play, because I don't know if you know, but I was kind of a big Trey Lance guy, and I believe in Trey Lance.
Shocker, I had no idea.
I believe in him a lot more than I believe in Sam Darnold. And I was wondering, I was musing yesterday during a different show, how many ghost costumes you think we'll see at Levi's? What's the over-under on ghost costumes at Levi's tomorrow? Being Halloween week, I think we're going to see a lot. But hopefully we don't see Darnold. I don't know. I mean, I did title the show. I said sitting Brock would be Purdy smart. And my sort of thought there is like, even if Purdy clears the concussion protocol, I think you just give him this game, you give him the bye week, and you come back in Jacksonville in week 10 and really hit it, hard for the rest of the season. Pause. And just make sure he's okay, because these concussions are nothing to play around with. Yeah. And these experts, independent experts get it wrong all the time. Just look at the fact they never pulled him out of the game in the first place, right? And it was pretty clear when that play happened, like there was a big collision. And I remember thinking, well, I guess he's okay. He's still playing and nobody pulled him out. But obviously, finding out later that he was concussed. And of course, it was before he threw the 2 interceptions. So I've been backtracking a lot on my, rankings of Purdy. Before the season, I had him in like that 14 to 18 range. I said mid. People got mad at me. I meant middle of the pack, average. But like mid and mediocre both have more of a negative connotation than the other 2 definitions. And that, maybe I did that on purpose a little bit too, as a little bit of a dig, as a Lance fan, right? So then after the Giants game, I'm like, okay, he's 11 to 15. After the Cards game, I'm like 8 to 12. After the Cowboys, 6 to 9. Then the Browns game happens. I'm like, okay, back to 8 to 12. Then the Vikings game happens. I'm like, back to 11 to 15. Then when we get this information that he was concussed for the 2 interceptions, the rest of the game he was pretty good. So I'm like, all right, we'll stick with 8 to 12. So that's sort of where I am with ranking Purdy. A lot of people get mad at me that I change it every week, but his sample size is so small and there's such wide variation.
It's fluid.
It's
right.
fluid.
That's what I heard someone on sports on First Take say, right? It's fluid.
And he's not playing consistent ball. I mean, the Steelers laid down. Let's be honest. Steelers were terrible. After the game, Mike Tomlin told everybody, like, hey, give all your checks to TJ Watt because he's the only one who showed up today. And the Rams, Purdy played okay versus the Rams, but it's basically just Aaron Donald on that defense. Let's be honest. And then, the Giants, it was sort of a tale of 3/3 of the game. The first third was bad. Kittle and Debo are playing DB to avoid interceptions. The middle, he starts to rein it in a little, but there were quite a few kind of dangerous balls he threw to Debo where he was in traffic and he got clotheslined at least once or twice. And then towards the end of the game, that's when he played really well. So I gave him like 2.3 games, like end of the Giants, Cards, and Cowboys. That's when I started really bumping him up. And, I think with the Browns, I think he's maybe not a good wet weather quarterback. And maybe he will be. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe his grip strength isn't 100%. He pretty famously just told Troy Aikman after the Vikings game that he's still strengthening his arm. I'm like, I've been saying this since camp. And they're like, no, he's ready. He's ready. And I'm like, I got so much grief for this. And it's like, I'm just calling it like I see it. And I can't believe other people don't see it. But nonetheless, here we are. That's a lot. So I'm sorry I talked so long.
You're good. You're good. And I'll put it this way too, in terms of Brock. Like I've always felt I can't say that. He has won me over in terms of him being a good quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback in this league, and I want to, make that be said. Now, that being said, there is also the reason why I say good is if you watch his tape, if you really pay attention, even going back to last year, and you hinted on this to a point, Ted. There have been a lot of plays that he's made or a lot of passes he's put out there. They should have been intercepted, right? Like I remember even one out the Thursday night game against the Giants. He threw an out route, or I think it was a crossing route to George Kittle. George Kittle plays DB, and you know how everyone's doing the seatbelt celebration now? And like George Kittle did that on the Giants sideline. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I started laughing at it, but it was just one of those things. Again, it came up. You talk about the biggest play in the Cowboys game last year. It was the one-handed bobbling catch by George Kittle in the middle of the field. That's kind of what, to an extent, kind of really, really helped to make that game go and how it was. So he's put some of these throws out there a lot, and I said the same thing to Falcons fans about Desmond Ridder, because a lot of Falcons fans, up until I believe it was the Packers game this year when he threw his first career interception, one of the big bragging points they made about him was, well, he hasn't thrown an interception yet. I was like, okay, that's true. But let me look at the passes where he should have thrown an interception. And not even there was a guy there, it was contested. There was no receiver there that should have been picked off. And Brock Purdy had plenty of those on his tape too. And so that's why it didn't surprise me, for the Cleveland game, you had the interception popped up. Obviously we found out after the fact about the concussion, but the two popped up in Minnesota. And look, I'll say this about concussions. Sometimes you just never know when they're going to affect you, or when you can tell they're affecting you. Like I played a position where you're in a car crash virtually every game. I know that's kind of the catchphrase everyone says, you're in a car crash every single play. But, I played the defensive line. I had my fair share of concussions, and there were some I felt right away. There's some I felt, later after the fact. So you just don't know, to Brock's credit and to Brock's point. But yeah, I still think that if you were to ask me, I still think he's a really good quarterback. It's just a matter of fact of that some of those throws that he made earlier in the year and earlier in his career, they were going to catch up to him. And I think they have.
Absolutely. There was that video last year that came out, and I'm blanking on the guy's name right this second, but where he was saying that Purdy and Jimmy were basically the same.
I wouldn't go that far.
I always said Purdy's at least a little bit better, a ton cheaper, and quite a bit younger as well too. But I saw the point of the video, and it was that Purdy did put the ball in harm's way a lot of times and just got lucky. And in fact, when he had no interceptions, there was a point where he had thrown 4 interceptable balls and just none had been caught. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the flip side of that equation was Matt Stafford, where he had thrown 1 less interceptable ball, 3, and he had 5 interceptions.
Yeah, more interceptions, right? Yeah,
which is incredible. Or like someone else was down there towards the bottom where they had 3 and 3, like still 1 less interceptable ball and 3 more interceptions than Purdy. Or like, the really stunning one was Josh Dobbs from the Cards had 8 interceptable balls and none intercepted at one point. Or like Mac Jones had like something like 14 interceptable balls or 12 and only 4 intercepted. So, it's not just how many are intercepted, it's how many are interceptable, because that's likely to catch up with you over time. And I said the same thing. And that was why I was never really ready to call Brock Purdy elite. As low as I got was 6 to 9. I never had him in the top 5. And I don't know that I ever will, because of his limitations, a limited arm, limited height, limited top speed. He is a mental giant. He does compensate a lot for that with great decision-making, with throwing with anticipation, with, accuracy, with leadership. There's so much to love about him. I just wish that there was a physical elite trait besides quickness.
Well, and I'll ask you this, Ted, just to your point,
Yeah.
About Brock Purdy. What was the highest in terms of range? What was
6
the
to 9.
highest that you had? Well, I'm
6
saying
to 9 after the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I'm saying for Jimmy G. What was the highest
Jimmy
the last few
G,
years you had Jimmy G?
12th.
Okay.
Yeah, I had him at 12th after the 2019 season.
And that was okay. He still made it all those NFC championships. He made it to the Super Bowl, like you said, 2019 season. So being 12th or being 6th, that's okay, especially for this offense and all the weapons they have. So the thing
as
for
long
me
as we have all the weapons, that's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing for me, remember 2019, you didn't have anywhere near the weapons that you have now. And
no, but we had the number 2 run game in the NFL.
Which, I mean, again, there's a lot to talk about there too.
Mostert,
but my point
with that NFC Championship game,
absolutely
220 yards and 4 TDs.
Absolutely. Well, and I think anybody would pick Christian McCaffrey over Raheem Mostert. No disrespect to Mostert, but let's be honest here.
Yeah, especially for the passing game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for both, but my point being that with this offense, the skill players that you have, especially when healthy, if you have someone that is in the 6 to 9 range, like so many people take it as a slight when people say, "Oh no, Brock Purdy isn't elite. Brock Purdy isn't this, isn't that." That's fine. He doesn't have to be. You're such a good team. He doesn't have to be the elite guy to make this all work. Now, I think like I said, I really do think he's pretty damn good. I really do. But he doesn't have to be this elite guy. So stop taking it as a slight, certain 49er fans when people don't say that about him. And he's never going to get the credit that they feel like he deserves because he's always going to be around, at least for right now. He's going to be around Deebo Samuel. He's going to be around Christian. He's going to be around Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey. And, of course, more than anything, Kyle Shanahan dialing up plays. So he's just not going to get the credit that y'all want him to get. So just stop stressing over it.
I agree. I mean, I think if we stay healthy, there's no team I would pick over us. Assuming that the defense can kind of get their stuff wrinkled out or the wrinkles figured out. There's definitely some question marks around Wilkes. I'm not a fire Steve Wilkes guy, at least not yet.
No.
And somebody asked if here, Daniel was asking, do you think the reason Bosa is struggling with his play is because he doesn't fit with the Wilkes style of defense? I think there's something to that. I mean, I think part of it is, then we got Bill Nye, the science guy. Welcome. This might be the first time I've seen you in a while.
Shout out.
He says Bosa isn't having a down year, but Bosa kind of admitted that he was
after the
Vikings game.
There you go.
And I think both can be true. I think Bosa is still rounding into game shape after only having literally 2 practices before the Steelers game week 1 because of his holdout contract negotiation. I think Steve Wilkes' style doesn't help the D-line to get sacks because he plays this sort of prevent off-ball type of defense where people are open underneath all the time. The quarterback can dump it off easily and avoid the pass rush. And then the defense rallies. And it is hard to score on this defense because before much has to go right. Yeah, I think even before the Vikings game, we were the number 1 scoring defense, even after the Browns game, and scoring allowed defense, least scoring allowed, and the Vikings scored 22, which is about average, so that's not going to hurt us too badly, honestly, in that statistic.
Sure.
So the thing is, though, for the Vikings game is like, imagine if they had Justin Jefferson, though, what they could have done, or even if Jordan Addison had stayed healthy for the whole game, which he didn't. They were beating us up at the end with KJ Osborne and Brandon Powell, who was like a kick returner from the Rams, last I remember. So just want to say hi to some other folks that are here. I'm not sure if I called out Bryant Culp in the house, but he was saying Ted's so lucky to be there for the beginning of Sam Area. So you were there for the beginning of Sam Area, Bryant, because he was at the season opener against the Giants. He was wearing his Moody jersey. He's a big Moody fan, and he was chanting Sam Area when Sam came in at the end to like do kneel downs or the last handoffs, the garbage time, whatever, mop up. So you were there first, but yeah, I mean, I guess for his first start, maybe I was telling my buddy who I go with, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Sam Darnold. But I guess it's good. Purdy wasn't in the walkthrough, or it wasn't limited yesterday, so that's a really good sign. I just think better to err on the side of caution with that. He's too valuable a resource. And real quick, just got Nancy Cameron in the house saying good morning, Ted and Jordan.
Morning, Nancy.
Nancy's great, so thanks, Nancy, for being here.
No, no, you're good. I just want to say this real quick. Like I said, as someone that has suffered concussions, I'm always going to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Because of course that's the most important part of your body, right? Is your brain. So I'm always going to err on the side of caution with that. And another thing to think about, I don't know what Trent Williams is going to be available for or not available. And Jalen Moore actually played a solid game against Minnesota. But you're going to have guys like Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson lining up. And they are some very good defensive ends that are relentless, their pass rush. And if you already, even if Trent plays, you still have a question mark on one of the outsides, right, with Colton Kivitz. Yeah. Do you really want to risk Brock Purdy getting hit, getting slammed to the ground? And maybe if it still is a concussion, it gets worse or whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying like, oh, yeah, no, throw Sam Darnold into the fire. No, I'm not doing that. But it's if you have someone that is just coming off a week, and a short week, might I add you, with some good pass rushers and a really good D coordinator too. I think that's one thing, with Cincinnati. Anarumo. I know everyone loves to talk about their offense, but they have a really good D coordinator. So he can make some things work and really dial up some stuff. So again, it's just a situation of, again, if you're the Niners, what's more important, winning this game or the long run? I know a lot of people have talked about this game being a must win for the Niners. I don't view it as a must-win for them, honestly. And the reason why I say that, look, you have one loss in the NFC. You're 2-0 in your division. So a lot of what's in front of you is still in your control. I really do believe that. So and I said this about Christian last week too, if the long run and playing to February is what matters and what's important, you have to be smart about what you're doing and how you're managing some of your players right now.
There you go. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Even if we drop this game to the Bengals, we'd be 5-3. It was our best start since 2019. If you look at 2021, we started 3-5.
Exactly.
5-3. 2022, we started 3-4, and then 4-4 by the game 8. So we'd be at least a game better than that. Still, it's just the momentum. It's real for me in games. I think it's real. You don't want to lose 3 games going into 3 in a row. That's
for sure.
That's rough. A little, and then you get a whole extra week to sit around and think about it. And just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes that's how things stick. Like I always say, winning isn't a light switch. It's not something you can just turn off and turn on. Like you can turn it off, if you're tanking or whatever. But then when you go to flip it back on, sometimes it doesn't. You get no lights, right? So. Yeah, and so with the Bengals, Sam Hubbard, great pass rusher. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson, great pass rusher. And then that reminds me of like when we played them in Cincy, and we were able to beat them barely, but in OT.
Part of that was a dropped interception by Cincy on that last drive too. I remember that.
It was, yes. Bates dropped the pick. He also had a taunting that allowed us to score a TD. Literally, our only TDs of the first half came on 2 muff punts that we recovered. And then on one of them, we were going to stall out anyway. And then Bates had the taunting. We scored the TD. Then, he drops the pick 6. Jimmy has his first good drive of the whole game in OT. We finally win it in OT. And then people are like, oh, well, Rams fans are like, oh, well, I bet you'd trade all your 8 other wins, or now it's 9, besides that NFC championship for that NFC. And they may be a little bit right, but the assumption that we would have beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl, I think it's a little bit, I don't know. I'm not saying we couldn't have. I'm just not saying we would have, because that game in Cincy, Logan Wilson, their star middle linebacker, I call him their Fred. He's not Fred Warner, but he's damn close. He was out for the whole game. And Trey Hendrickson, who we're talking about, is a beast. He's having a hell of a year this season. He missed the whole second half of that game. And then if we had gone to the Super Bowl, and then for that game, Jimmy was healthy and so was Trent Williams. If we had gone to the Super Bowl, Jimmy had the shoulder that required surgery and also the The avulsion fracture on his thumb that he was playing through, and Trent Williams was playing with a high ankle sprain that wouldn't have been healed by the Super Bowl either. So like they would have had 2 stars back. We would have been kind of almost 2 stars down, and we had already barely beat them when it was flipped the other way. I'm not saying we couldn't have. Our defense was playing better. I give us credit there, but I think it was kind of a coin flip, not something that would have been a sure thing to me.
And can we just I want to harp on this real quick because you have Rod's shout out to Rod again. That's my my little big bro. This whole thing about Steve Wilkes, and here's what I don't appreciate about it is the standpoint of, look, as a Black man, I'm always going to look out for Black coaches and support Black coaches to make things happen when they're in high positions in this league. Because as we all know, they come and go very quickly, right?
They don't Steve get the Wilkes same leeway. They don't get the same
exactly
to make mistakes.
Right.
I agree.
Steve Wilkes is the perfect example. What happened in Arizona? He had one bad year. They drafted Josh Rosen as quarterback. Well, we want Kyler Murray, so we're going to take Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach, even though he was a loser as a head coach in college. Let's call it, what it is at Texas Tech. He was a loser. Yeah. And so they got rid of him there. So what I don't like about the situation with what's going on, we can all agree, disagree. That call at the end of halftime was not right. I remember this was years ago. Again, as a Falcons fan, we're playing the Saints. This is when the Saints had Ted Ginn. We went cover 0 right before the half for blitz, and Ted Ginn beat us deep for a touchdown. And I was like, why did we go cover 0? Why did we blitz right there? I didn't agree with it, And so at the same point, I might not agree with it, but here's what I would say. If I were the head coach, it's you don't throw your DC under the bus right there in terms of, he said, well, I don't like that call with 16 seconds left. Kyle,
then
if I could go,
Kyle, you're in the headset, brother.
Right. But my thing is, Kyle, if I could go down the list of situational play calls that you have messed up, whether you're a head coach or an OC when you were in Atlanta, I could have a whole episode off that alone. So let's not talk about situational play calling. Also, at the same time, when we talked about, you said Nick Bosa, because again, I agree with you. I'm not going to be the one that says Nick Bosa's having a down year. I'm not, because I thought that you would look at the pressures, you look at how he's winning some of these rushes, he's right there.
Double and triple team rates.
Yeah, but Nick Bosa is the one that's telling you he's having a down year. Yeah. So who am I to disagree with Nick Bosa about him having a down year?
Exactly.
And he's the one that's blaming himself, blaming the defense in an interview. I don't like that. And so now the thing for me is, again, going back to people building up a narrative of this being a must win. It's not even just a must win anymore. Things have to look a certain way, because if the defense doesn't look a certain way, you don't get a certain amount of sacks or a certain amount of pressures and hits on Joe Burrow. And we know the Cincinnati Bengals always struggle on the offensive line. People are still going to look at Steve Wilkes now. And the reason why they're going to do that is because of what the comments coming out of the locker room are saying and what they look like. So I don't like that. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said great leaders stand up to criticism and duck praise. So, you say it's your fault, even if it's not, and you handle the Steve Wilkes things behind closed doors. But Kyle, he likes to have his outs. He likes to have his scapegoats, if you will.
And by the way, real quick, Bill Nye, I listened to the interview. So, you want to talk about sound and stuff or whatever. I heard what Steve Wilkes said. He owned up to it, as he should, because again, not the right call in that moment, but it's just one of those things. I'm not going to agree with putting certain things out there to the public. I don't agree with that. If you want to disagree with that, that's fine. If anybody else wants to disagree with that, that's fine. But the way Kyle said it and the way Kyle put it out there, the way Nick Bosa put it out there, I don't agree with it.
Yeah, it's you don't air your dirty laundry, as they like to say, right, Jordan? I mean, I think there are certain things that are better to remain unsaid. My saying, once you get paid, interesting.
And Bill, that's my apologies if I misinterpreted what you said. Then you said you weren't calling me tough. So my apologies on that.
That's fine. There was some interesting stuff further back up. First of all, I want to call it Jimmy Perez in the house. saying what's up, Ted. He says hit the like and subscribe buttons. Yeah, please
Shout
do
out,
that.
Jimmy.
I appreciate that. I always forget to ask people to do that. Great One had an interesting opener. He came in and said, where'd he go? He said something about like, oh, here we go. I don't believe he had a concussion. Purdy will play 2 more into the Niners lose 2017. They'll continue the concussion excuse for Purdy, then start Donald after the bye.
Listen, I don't.
Grant Cohn started this whole thing about, oh, if Purdy plays poorly against the Bengals, then all of a sudden he's going to have some phantom arm injury, and you'll see Darnold after the bye. I don't think that's the case, but Kyle really seems to love Darnold. I mean, he loved him enough to install him over Trey Lance, who had a much better offseason, better camp, and I thought higher highs at least on the preseason games. The Raiders I explained away as like that was sabotage to basically put Trey in there and then have 3 straight drives with no run plays and on a run first team. And then the 4th drive, you start out with 2 runs. Trey gets the rhythm, score only touchdown of the game. I think it was pretty clear as day what was going on there. But I think Kyle decided as soon as he signed Sam Darnold that he was going to be QB2 because Sam didn't show him anything in camp. All he did was dink and dunk. Sam was the dink and dunk, not Purdy, not Lance.
Yeah. I mean, there's a mix there. I understand Sam Darnold's reputation as a pro quarterback, right? I do want to give him this credit though, on 2 different levels. One, I remember, my last year we played against USC, and I believe it was the last game that, for maybe people remember this or not, Max Brown was the quarterback for USC. And, this was a team, they still had Juju there. Ronald Jones was still there, some NFL guys, and they just looked disinterested, right? They really did not look and seem like they wanted to play. So we get the win. And the next game, I believe, is when Sam Darnold started his run as a quarterback for USC. And it just looked like people rallied around him. And it's like, okay, now here's that dude, whether it was talent-wise, maybe his leadership in the huddle, I don't know exactly what it was, but it looked and felt different. Obviously, that year, USC went to the Rose Bowl. They beat Penn State, the team that had Saquon Barkley, on a last-minute field goal. Now, with Sam Darnold, and again, like the reason why I know that offense looked different too, there was definitely a talent difference between, Max Brown and Sam Darnold. Sam's got he's got great arm talent. Like I gotta say that. I'm sorry. Hey, Rod, I gotta give context. Okay. That's why I gotta say it. But that being said, even just last year when he was in Carolina, as everyone remembers, he had Carolina in a situation in a first place game against the Bucks for first place in the NFC South with Tom Brady. And I get it. The NFC South wasn't good, but still at the end of the day, they had a chance to get first place. And Sam had some good moments. Now, again, like we talked about Brock, you have to say same thing about Sam. The weapons and the opportunity that he has in front of him, I think it's going to look okay. Now, here's what I do worry about, though. Sam's going to give you the ball. Yeah, ATL fan doesn't agree with Kyle. I don't. Like I said, but again, the thing is, like, we can call a buck, and everyone that's been on Sports Live and Show, you watch it. I'm going to be as objective as I possibly can. That's what I do. But anyway, back to Sam Darnold is whether it's you want to blame a personnel, whatnot. Sam Darnold's going to give you a chance as a defense to take the ball away, and I think that's where he differs from Brock Purdy is. And we know about the anticipation that Brock throws with. I know he threw the 2 interceptions last week. But I think, in the right headspace, I'm talking about the concussion ones, in the right headspace, I would trust Brock Purdy a whole lot more to take care of the ball than Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold has a better opportunity to give you the big play opportunity than Brock does. But give me the person that's going to take care of the ball more than, home run or not. He's almost like a Kyle Schwarber, if you will. If anybody watches baseball, right? Kyle Schwarber is one of your 3 true outcome guys. It's going to be a home run, strikeout, or walk. Nothing else in between. Brock Purdy's kind of like, Sam Darnold's more like that guy for me. Give me the guy that's going to give me the doubles and the singles, like Freddie Freeman. Give me a guy like that over someone that's going to give me the 3 true outcomes.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think that Darnold has a bigger arm. I think he's a little more athletic, especially long speed. Pause. Yeah, but his decision making is questionable, and yeah, he's gonna. Brock is a mental giant.
Yeah,
and Sam Darnold is not. There's no doubt about it. He sees ghosts. 100%. Real quick, I just want to do a quick commercial break.
Pay those bills.
Yeah, my channel is sponsored by TTB, brought to you by TTG. That's the Travelstead Group. They're a retail and hospitality logistics company. So they do transportation for warehousing, for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings. They do rollouts, relocations, decommissions. From the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between, Travelstead has you covered. Let us know how we can help you via air, ocean, or land. They do closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. And it's Nick and Henry are my 2 contacts there. Great guys. They have 100% US-based support. This is a huge thing because these complex operations, there's always little fine-tuning at the very least, if not things that pop up. And, when you call their support, they're going to understand what your business does and what you do, not some offshore call center that has no clue what you do. So check out their website. It's in the description for the show. It's in my YouTube About page, Twitter bio. It's also on Instagram and Facebook. If you follow me there, click the link, check out the video. And then if you have those needs, make sure you tell them Ted sent you so they know it came from here. I appreciate your help, folks. And thanks, Jordan. Thanks for letting me pay the bills. Proud to have a sponsor. So
it's expensive out here in the Bay. You got to do what you got to do. I get it.
No doubt about it. Do you live out here in the Bay too? Then,
yeah,
or?
I'm in the East Bay.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
because I'm like giving you all these East.
That's why I was trying to convert it over to like.
That's how we got screwed up.
That's how we got crossed up. Exactly.
Damn. Because it's funny because you said 9:30 last night.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, for some reason all along, I thought 9:30 too. Like when I was making the show, I was about to put 9:30 in, and then I checked our DMs. I'm like, no, it says 8:30 or 11:30 Eastern. I'm like, okay. But anyway, we got it all fixed. Everybody's here. All good. These things happen all the time. All kinds of snafus here and there.
Good. And shout out Dan. Now Dan's in here too. Like I said, one of the other co-hosts of Sports Left and Chill. So shout out Dan.
There we go. Dan the man. Here he is. Did I make it? You made it.
You made it. We still going, dog.
Yeah, you bet. You got plenty left to cover here. We were just talking a little bit about Purdy and Brock and Sam Darnold and what we think the differences are. Like I said, my title was Sitting Brock Would Be Purdy Smart. Jordan agrees that with concussions, always better to be safe than sorry. But, Kyle, I mean, geez, it's funny because now I'm 2 weeks in a row at these kind of titles because last week I got to do my preview article here pretty soon. But my preview article, it just dropped right before the Vikings game. But I called it To CMC or Not to CMC because there's another one of these things of he's probably ready to play and is going to want to play, but should we let him play? And I was saying no last week too. And I will say, clearly the game wouldn't have been close without CMC. We needed him to be close. But now it's like we got sort of the worst possible outcome, which is CMC played. Not only did he play, there was a point late in the game where
Oh
yeah, CMC's played every single snap.
Yeah.
Game. Oh God, Kyle. It's just he can't, there's no 75% or 50% or put Mason in. I don't think Mason had a snap in that game, right? I mean, after he played really well against the Browns. And Elijah Mitchell maybe had one snap. I don't know. It just seems like you gotta use your other players. And I was just sort of I felt like CMC was due for a rest even without the injury. And then the injury, it's this is no brainer. Rest him. And now, like I said, we got the worst case scenario where we didn't rest him and we lost. But hopefully he'll be okay moving forward. I don't know. It just seems like numbers are going down, I would like to see him rest and have him ready for the playoffs, as Danielle or Red Jet Shell said up there a little further up. She was saying that he was there's 9 weeks to the playoffs. Also, real quick, Red Jet has a super sticker. Thank you so much, Red Jet.
Thanks, Shell.
That's awesome. I don't know if that shows up on the. I guess it doesn't show up here on the thing, but thank you, Red Jet. That's much appreciated. Yeah, I guess that's something people should know is that I am monetized with the first level monetization on YouTube now, so people can get channel memberships and then also do super chats, super stickers, and things like that. If I'm being too slow to read your chat, feel free to make me read it in that way. So that's good stuff.
So I love everyone talking about we should meet up. We should and do like a collab show. That'd be dope. We need to bring Wise along too. I'm sure if Wise is tuning in,
I just met Wise recently.
That's what I heard.
He was out in town for the John Chapman and Breezy video. We did a shoot by the Debo mural in San Jose, and then some more shoots by the Levi's Stadium. Wise is an awesome guy. I also met Terradome, which was awesome because
I heard
all summer, and I met his lovely wife, and she's great. And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm Ted." She's like, "Oh, I know who you are." I'm like, "Oh, damn."
So I gotta say, Ted, I hate to break it to you, Wise was not there.
Wise is not there.
He was not there.
What do you mean?
It wasn't him. He told us, he said, "No, I wasn't at a shoot." Like, because I remember at the show, we were all like, "Oh yeah, like that's dope, cool. They met up with Wise, it's awesome." He said, "No, it wasn't him.
It was someone impersonating him.
It was what we call Wise 2.0.
Wise 2.0.
Yeah.
No way. Wow. Well, that's a trip. Well, all I can say is I just hope they got me up there dancing at one point. By myself.
What dance were you smeezing? Was it the
I don't even know what I was doing.
It
was like probably like the white guy overbite and like just trying to be cool. And oh man, I just hope it ends up on the cutting room floor. That's all I can say.
I need to see it. I need to see the tape.
So it wasn't one. Yeah, I talked to Breezy. I'm sure he's got it stashed away somewhere. I'm sure it'll come out. It's so embarrassing that it has to come out. It's one of those things,
Gotcha.
But that's funny. I can't believe that it was a Wise impersonator. Interesting.
So it's Wise 2.0. That's why everyone's making the joke about meeting up because like it wasn't Wise. But no, we actually.
Well, it was definitely Terradome. It was definitely
Terradome for sure was there. But no, in all seriousness, no, we definitely.
And I also met I don't want to mess up his name. Delifetti, is that Delfetti? He's like the singer. Rapper, Delfetti. Yeah, he's from Milpitas.
Okay.
He was there, and then he performed out in Sac. Bash was at a like a watch party, and he and like a few other people were out there and did some performing, singing, and good stuff. So that's crazy. It wasn't Wise, huh? I thought he looked a little bigger, honestly. The guy who was there, he was a really big dude.
Like I said, we like I'll just say we had a good laugh about it because we were talking about it. This is after Gina was on your show last week.
Yeah,
and so we were saying like, "Oh, that's dope! Like, Wise, you met Ted?" He's like, "No, I didn't." What are y'all talking about? We had it was so funny for about a good day or two. It was a great laugh.
Oh man. That's funny. Crazy. He says, Rod says, my cousin DB. Love it. That's Dan, I guess, huh? Dan the man. Brian says it's about the Niners as a team. Sam will be fine. I mean, I kind of hope so, just because otherwise, me, I'm going to be going nuclear about why the heck was he our backup. And I don't want to be mad at Kyle anymore about the quarterback position. Honestly, I'm kind of over it. But this is the type of thing that was what had me worried. It was just like, I mean, we've only had one season of no QB injuries, and that was 2019. So, I always said if Brock stays fine, I think we'll be fine. But what are the odds of that? It just didn't seem real strong.
Well, again, another part of it too. Like, I really do think Kyle, and if you look at the actual physical capabilities of what Sam Darnold has, it makes sense. Like, if you just look at it just by that alone, right? It makes sense as to why Kyle would like Sam Darnold. Again, we talk about the arm strength, talk about the actually when he's accurate. Like, again, that doesn't always happen. There really is a lot to like about Sam Darnold, but also here's another part about it too. Do 49er fans remember the last stop Sam Darnold was in, right? Carolina. Who else was in Carolina with him?
Well, CMC was there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do you think that would
DJ Moore happen? Was there, who now is a Bear.
But I'm saying more so in terms of who's on this Niners team. So do you think that Sam Darnold would be here if Christian didn't say bring this dude in, like he's legit, he's this and that? No,
well, I don't know. Kyle kind of always liked Darnold. Coming out.
Yeah.
We tried to get him before he went to the Panthers, so we were ready to trade a first for him, I think.
Yeah, which is true, but I mean, you got to remember the McCaffreys and the Shanahans. Those two family ties, they go way back. So
yeah, it's 49ers royalty for sure.
Exactly,
no doubt about it.
Well, it's football 49ers royalty.
Camelot, as Mark Adams would be proud of.
Yeah,
he's great. Let's see here. He says y'all should meet up. Okay, that's what he said. Okay,
that's it.
Oh man.
Listen, we should though. We should.
Why is this East Coast, right? He's
he's up in I think Sacramento. I think.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's doable.
By the way, shout out the Warriors. Go ahead, beat Sacramento tonight. Just want to put that out there too.
Let's go Dubs. Get that dub.
Exactly.
I don't know. The Warriors are a little old. The Kings are the up and comers.
Yeah.
I really like. What's their main guy's name? Their point guard.
De'Aaron Fox.
He is amazing.
Just signed a Curry brand the other day too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Under Armour, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Bill Nye is trying to compare Tomlin and Kyle, but Tomlin's got the ring, man. And the Steelers, they didn't ever pick at the top of any round. So that's the difference. The Niners been up and down. That's helped us. I mean, I don't know. I think I'd rather have Kyle, but I can see why people would put Tomlin ahead of Kyle.
I mean, I'll put it this way. Right now, I put Kyle in Eagles Andy Reid territory. The reason why I say that is if anyone remembers, earlier on in the early 2000s, the Eagles were always in the NFC Championship, right? They lost to, I think, the Panthers, they lost to the Bucks, they lost to the Rams, and then I think they beat us. I remember early on in that game, Brian Dawkins, I think it was 2004, Brian Dawkins sent a message early on in that game, hit Algie Crumpler in the middle of the field over in the link. That was still no, not the link, in the vet. Sorry,
the vet.
In the vet. Yeah, and that kind of set the tempo. That's when they went to the Super Bowl. T.O. played with a broken leg against the Patriots, but for a while, everyone looked at Andy Reid as the man. He's an offensive genius, but is he a good enough coach to win the big one? Right. That was the dialogue and discussion around him. So I put Kyle. That's kind of where he is right now. Like, you can't take away from his offensive genius and greatness in terms of designing calls. But when it comes to being a head coach and all the things involved in being a head coach in terms of clock management, sure, a lot of people disagree with him being conservative in the NFC Championship game against the Rams. Or, even earlier this year, 3 pass plays in a row against the Browns where you only take 16 seconds off the clock when you're winning the game. Right, like there's other facets of it. So it really is one of those things, as crazy as it is to say, but we all know how the final accolade and the big trophy is the separator for a lot of people in their careers. And I think that's a great reason why it's fun to point out. They were talking about Kyle Shanahan and Mike Tomlin, right? Because again, if Mike Tomlin doesn't win that championship, how do we look at him? And I think that's the same thing with Kyle. It's like Kyle wins that championship. How he's viewed and portrayed as a head coach is going to look so much different.
There you go. I'm just catching up to everybody laughing at me.
No, I know. I told you we had a great time with
Ted,
it, and
who did you
so
meet? I don't know who I met. I got a picture. I'll post. I posted it. In fact, you can see it. It's on the timeline
oh
because I
man,
posted the one of is like me, Breezy, John. Is it Levi's? Me, Breezy, John Chapman, Terradome, and the fake Moe's.
yeah, Wise 2.0.
Wise 2.0. Oh yeah, not Moe's. Wise. Jeez, I'm losing it here. Yeah. Yeah, the Wise Soul 2.0. It's crazy. Or maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was Moe's and I said Wise.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is. I'm such a dumbass. No
But
wonder.
now are you? Here's the question: are you sure it was
Sure.
Moe's?
Yeah, I got to go back and check. I got to go back and check my. I can check that pretty quick.
We're gonna have you on. We're gonna have our own version, our own TED version. Who wants to be a millionaire? And it's gonna be identify this person, and we're gonna be. Is that your final answer? You know.
So it's the Wayne Breezy.
Ted was doing the thizzle dance.
It must have been Moe's. All right. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to double check it here off the air because I don't want to kill too much time on here. And the chat is popping too. So
I know, I love it.
That must have been it. Wise 2.0. Oh man, I'm never gonna live this one down.
No, you just gotta be ready for it.
Oh man, Gina, you set me up. It's all Gina's fault. There you go.
When in doubt, blame Gina.
Is. Yeah, he's a good guy for sure, and a nice time chatting with him. And there was some other guy too who had more of like a designer name, like yeah. I'm done trying to guess at things.
Hey, that's progress, Ted. That's progress. We're getting there.
No doubt.
Oh man.
Let's see here if I can find it quickly. Can't.
You know, this is interesting. You know,
here it is. Here it is. So, yeah, what Moe's knows. No wonder it was Moe's, not Wise.
Oh man.
What a turkey.
Breaking news on TED Talks Ball today.
God, it's like so cliche too, right? I mean, like
we all look alike.
Yeah, God damn it. Killing me.
I'm just telling you right now, the reason why you don't see like Rod or Gina commenting right now is because they are laughing. And Dan, they're just laughing. They're just laughing that hard right now. They can't comment at this moment.
Ty Alston in the house.
What's good, Ty?
What's up, Ty? 10% Ty. Agent to podcasters. You can turn your podcast into podcast. All he charges is 10%. You need a better co-host. You want to switch to a better show, hit up Ty. He'll make it happen for you. He is the man when it comes to that kind of stuff. David McNiner in the house. Check out his channel as well too. So Ty has his own channel, but then also he does merch. I think we also want to call it Rod Cali. Gina called him out for doing graphic design.
That's where I got this one from.
Yeah, make sure you hit up Rod for that. And Ty, like I said, does his own merch as well. And then
I appreciate it.
See the hoodie. There you go.
Always repping the W. Shout out the Atlanta Dream. That's my squad. Shout out the Aces for winning the finals. And shout out the Bay. Team coming soon. So no, that's dope. So shout out the W.
And then Ty's on Niners Coast to Coast with Aaron and Dave McNiner and Bryant Culp on Mondays, but also East Coast Red and Gold on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, with Jess, Matty B, and Bex. Also a great group there. So let's see here. I was going to try and work my way up because I was so far behind. But a great one and Bill Nye are just arguing. Somebody stop airing their dirty laundry. Let them just duke it out.
You see, you just entered the chat, right?
I saw somebody at the bottom.
You see?
Sorry, Wise. Oh man, and sorry, Mose. Oh, geez. Like,
man.
So embarrassing. Yeah, it was Mose Nose who was there, and I think I even said something like, "I love your shoe." Oh yeah, no wonder it didn't. Like, we're there talking. It's like it happened at the day of too, because I'm like, "Did you have trouble deciding which shoes to wear today?" And he's like, "No," and I'm like. Oh, what an idiot.
I'm done.
What an idiot. This guy.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh my god.
What shoes to wear.
That's hilarious.
No wonder he looked at me just like, what are you talking about?
we said we were making the joke, so I don't know if everybody remembers this like a few years ago. You remember back when Terrio was a big thing, right? Ooh,
yeah.
And so there was a guy, I think it was in the Popeyes, and he thought he saw Terrio as a different kid, and so he was trying to make him, like do the ooh kill him, and like the kids just sitting there like,
what? Who do you think I am?
And that's what we kept saying, is like, that's what Wise 2.0 felt like when you were calling him Wise.
Sorry, Mo. Sorry, Wise. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. There you go. Yeah, I am, Rod. It's all true. It is all true. Oh man, just stepped in it again, and hey, but I'm honest. I'm never gonna lie. If I make a mistake, I'll own it. I blew that badly. We got Philly Bowel Entertainment.
That's Unk.
Dude. What's up, Unk?
And shout out Sports Laugh and Chill in the building.
There you go. Lower the rims.
No, don't lower the rims in women's basketball. Don't.
Rod Cali Facts. Ty Alston. Good PR. WA needs more excitement. No, I'd say keep it the same. We got sister Tanya Sao in the house.
What's up, Miss Tanya?
Dan the Man's laughing. Red Jet's loving it. Heart you so much. Jesus. I don't even think Jesus can save me from this one.
Oh, man.
It's the scroll the mouse noise for me. Haha. Yeah, that's when I was looking for the tweet. But I found it eventually. Yeah. And I need to get a quieter mouse. But at least you know what I'm doing. I'm not just like dead space.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Why is Ted not talking? Oh yeah, he's scrolling. Oh, Wise 2.0. Oh man. This is so good. Everybody's just that's fine. Hey, as long as we had some sports, we had a laugh. Now do we get to chill? I don't know.
Oh, hey, yo! No, that's Gina's territory. We don't. No. We don't. Okay. We let Gina take care of the chill part.
There you go. Oh man. Where do we go from here? So straight to hell, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Red Jet Shell with super chat, because this podcast is all we need.
We appreciate you, Shell.
Thank you, Red Jet Shell. And she had the super sticker too. I finally found out how to. I guess you can't get that from the up above where it like shows them stacking up, but you can get it when you find it on the actual list. Then I'll go back and just find it real quick because it's red. It shouldn't be that hard. So there goes the scrolling noise again. Oh, the way the heck up here. Here we go. This is the super sticker there. So yeah, Red Jet kicking down.
You.
Yeah. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Well, Ted, let me ask you this: What do you
Yeah.
think? You said where do we go from here? Let's try to get this back on track.
Man,
What do you
don't know.
think can or will or what should happen on Sunday for y'all?
I think we need to figure out our defense. I think we need to pressure Burrow. The Bengals offensive line has been sort of their Achilles heel ever since Burrow's been there. Even the Super Bowl year, it got a little bit better, but it was still a weak spot for them. So yeah, our D line has to kind of show why we pay them all this money.
Mm.
And our O line needs to try and neutralize Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard a little bit. Nickel is a concern for me. I don't know. Is T. Higgins back?
I think so.
Nickel's a concern for me. Isaiah Oliver is burnt toast, especially against fast receivers. So, right guard, right tackle, nickel are my real concerns. So Jamar Chase seems like he's been really rounding back into form. That's a concern. And limit Mixon.
I feel that. I mean, the thing for me too is like I really do feel this way. I'll just really read Rod's comment. I'm so glad you brought up the point about paying the defensive line, and of course you do it because you want to get after the quarterback. But we always used to have we always had a saying in our meeting room when I was playing: you have to earn the right to rush the passer, which means you have to stop the run. And for whatever reason, like when you look at some of the numbers, we all knew what were the Browns going to do when PJ Walker was the quarterback. They're going to run the football. And the Niners couldn't stop it. I mean, even though the run total doesn't look like it, I think they only had 70, 80 something yards, talking about the Vikings. But Alexander Madison had like 5.1 yards a carry. That doesn't sound like the 49ers defense to me. And so you have to stop the run. And this is a Bengals team coming in. They have not been a good team running the ball with Joe Mixon. And he's a good back. Don't get me wrong. They have been good running the ball. So you can't all of a sudden let them get going either. Now, at the same time, in terms of stopping the run on defense, you have to reestablish the run game on offense. That's what has surprised me so much about the 49ers, especially as of late. And we know as much of like how much the play action dictates what happens for the 49ers on offense. So you have to get that run game back going. And again, this is a Bengals defense. I saw someone pointed this out earlier in the chat too. This is not a very good run defense, talking about the Bengals. So it should be a game where you reestablish the run. I'd actually love to see Jordan Mason a lot more in this game, not even just because of the CMC oblique, but because of his run style. Like punish him. Punish him and then, switch CMC on and off. He'll get the big home run plays and then let Jordan Mason go in and just run, just destroy him running the ball at the middle. Pause. But that's what I think needs to happen. That this is a game where San Francisco needs to or get back to their physical identity on both sides of the ball, whether it's running the ball or stopping the run. That's what, in terms of while everyone wants to sound the alarms, if I don't see them reestablish their sense of physicality in the line of scrimmage, that's when I'll be like, uh-oh. I ain't doing it just because they lost 2 games.
There you go. No doubt. Yeah, and I think the Niners need to take advantage of the Bengals secondary. They obviously have Logan Wilson. He's a star middle linebacker. They always have Hendrickson and Hubbard on the D-line. But they did lose Jesse Bates.
To
Atlanta. He's playing great.
Yep.
And they drafted somebody, but I don't think he's totally worked out. And maybe he might be injured. I don't know. I forget. But I just feel like their secondary can be had. So hopefully, obviously, no Debo, but hopefully Jennings and Ayuk and Kittle can make them pay. That would be ideal. I think that's where they can be had. I had a Bengals content creator on Wednesday morning. Oh, no, it was yesterday morning, pardon me. And he actually picked us to beat the Bengals. And I said, Yeah, I'll pick us to beat the Bengals if Purdy starts, but if it's Darnold, I'm picking us to lose. So, not that I'm rooting against him. I just, on my heart will be rooting for the Niners no matter what, but my head says no if it's Darnold. So let's see, they got Daxton Hill. That's the guy they drafted to replace.
Yeah, Dax Hill out of Michigan.
Yeah, and then
I'll tell you what, y'all better be careful. Don't go no huddle or make sure you get the calls in, because word on the street is if you're from Michigan, you're good at seeing what the signs are from the other sideline. So y'all be careful with that. Be careful.
There you go. Stealing signs. Like somebody on the radio said something like, I just thought that was called good scouting or something. I was like, I love that.
I mean, look, I get it. I understand what the rules are, but I'll tell you this much. Even when I played the first 1 or 2 possessions that were on defense, one of the most important things I try to pay attention to, what's the O-line calling? And when they call it, what then happens, for the on the offensive play? Like that was the thing. So I get, like, there's certain extents you don't go, right? Like, I mean, again, you think about baseball, the Houston Astros with the trash can. You don't do that stuff like that. You don't take the technology into that standpoint, but there is a certain level of sign stealing that goes on. I mean, there's a reason why you don't want a runner at second base in baseball. There's a reason why you have now the pitch comm, because if you had a runner at second base, you're probably tipping off the signs and getting the signs and the cadence of what, hey, they're going on this sign this now for this pitch and that pitch. Same thing with football. People take signs all the time, but there's certain just levels that you go about doing it that can't happen.
There you go. Fair enough. I'm with you. I was just looking more through the Bengals secondary. They have Mike Hilton, who's a hell of a nickel. At one point, I thought he might be the best nickel in the NFL. He's definitely up there in that conversation, I feel like. Then Cam Taylor-Britt as a right corner. I don't think he's anything special. And then the other corners, Chidobe Awuzie, who is pretty good, right?
Solid player.
Yeah, solid at least. And then Nick Scott at strong safety. And we know he put a real strong hit on Debo in the NFC Championship game as a Ram.
That's right.
Where Debo didn't have his head turned, and he I wouldn't call it cheap, but it was definitely clean, but it was Debo didn't have his head turned to defend himself, to prepare or whatever. But I don't think Nick Scott's anything special, or else the Rams probably wouldn't have let him walk. So although they did let John Johnson walk to the Browns, and then they just got him back, and I know he's a pretty good safety. So
like I said, look, run the ball, stop the run, Niners win. That I want to make it as simple as I can.
There you go.
Run the ball, stop the run, Niners win.
Gina thinks we get the win. I like it.
I think you do too.
Yeah, there you go. If Big Red plays, he's thrown for 350 yards and 3 TDs. That's Sam Darnold, Big Red. Oh man.
Only thing is he might throw.
I heard somebody call him. Oh, it was Terradome had a short, or maybe it was no. Oh, it was Lawrence Jackson Jr. Platform 246. He had a short, and he was saying he called him Patrick Swayze because of the ghost. And then he called him Red Robin. I like that better than Big Red. I like Red Robin.
Oh my gosh.
A little more derogatory, I feel like. Since I'm definitely not a Sam Darnold fan. Again, I will be rooting for him on Sunday if he plays, but
of course,
I always say the other 6 days depend on how they do, right? So game day, I'm always rooting for our QB. He might be easier to root for than Jimmy G too. We'll see, but not better than Purdy in my mind. I guess that'd be a good question, Jordan. Yeah. How good of a game would Sam Darnold have to ignite a QB controversy in San Francisco?
It's funny. I think that
it's possible, right? I mean,
I guess I just don't think it's as possible as other people think. And I say that from the standpoint of, again, you have a, was it now 10, 11, 12 game sample size of Brock Purdy. And we've seen what this looks like with Brock Purdy. So that's, and like, we've seen really good Brock Purdy games. So I just don't, I don't want to say that there's a certain game that's a little, because also I'm not a believer of, hey, you did it one game, that means it's going to translate and parlay out to, a whole season or whatever the case may be. And here's the thing with concussions, again, let's just say if obviously the Niners had the bye week coming up after this game, right? So it's not like Brock might not play next week. Sam's playing again next week, and back-to-back weeks he balls out. That's not going to happen. So I just don't see there's any type of good game or big game that he has that's going to create a quarterback controversy. And I think if anything, that's just going to be some talking points, but I just can't see it. I really can't.
What if all right, the D stays weak, just like it was against the Vikings, but this week instead of playing Kirk Cousins throwing to Jordan Addison, you're playing Burrow, and now he's pretty close to 100% or 100%. And instead of 450 yards and 22 points, they have 450 yards and they score like 40 points, and still Sam Darnold outduels him, and we score 45 and win. Then, and a comeback. And it's a comeback win after being down by 14 going into the fourth quarter.
Well, I mean, we look at it this way. We already talked about Cincinnati not being that good of a defense. They're not good as a run defense. We know what Cincinnati is capable of when their offense is going. I still, like I said, at the end of the day, I want to see when it comes down to it, just getting back to your point of your question. Remember just 2 weeks ago, what was the nickname y'all had for Brock Purdy in this offense?
30.
Purdy 30. Right. So again, I'm going to take someone that I feel I can trust, and every weekend and week out is going to put up 30 points on the board. Then one person that can be explosive one week give you 45, and then against another defense and a better defense, which again we've seen Sam Darnold before, that's going to give you maybe 20 and 2 picks, and just something like we all know that Shanahan face. Right, we all know the Shanahan face when he's frustrated. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I believe Sam Darnold is the guy that will give you more opportunities to have that Shanahan face than Brock Purdy does.
Yeah, that makes sense. Brian Culp already on it.
Sam 40. Ooh.
Or Sam 45, like Colt 45.
Yeah. Brian said he 40 Walter. All right. We'll see.
No, I mean, it's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. But I just for argument's sake, I always like to ask questions like that. Like, what would it take for you to think it? And what would it take for Kyle to think it? Because just remember, Brock Purdy wasn't Kyle's pick.
You see what y'all did? Y'all made Gina do? You see what happened. See, this is why we can't have pause moments. We can't, because see, this is the chill part of the. I told you let Gina take care of that, and that's exactly why.
There you go. Yeah, I don't see it happening, but there's got to be some game that's enough to where you're like, oh, he's so good that you got the bye, and then coming out in Jacksonville, we're gonna give Darnold another chance. Maybe if there's concussion symptoms linger, but they don't seem to be lingering. Like I said, he was limited yesterday. Mm-hmm. So somebody asked, Danielle asked, is Purdy playing? We don't know. Yeah, chances are, if it was a real concussion, as Ty was saying, something about alleged concussion. Don't get sued for slander.
I think it's a real concussion. We all saw the hit.
Tinfoil hat. I mean, I'm as big a tinfoil hat as there gets, but I feel like it's real. If you watch that replay, and my thumbnail for the show, I took 3 stills of it, and you could just see his head move 2 feet. Mm-hmm. It's pretty obvious that would cause some kind of brain trauma. But yeah, as far as if those symptoms persist a little bit, then we could see Darnold coming out of the bye. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. I hope Darnold does play well. If he does play, I just hope he doesn't play.
Well, you mean you want to see a 49er quarterback outside of Trey Lance do well, Ted? I can't believe it. Gosh. I can't believe it. Whoa.
I don't want to have a reason to go on a rant next week, because it's coming. If Sam Darnold goes in there and poops the bed, I've been waiting. Because
I know.
first of all, it's not for sure he's going to play, and second of all, it's not for sure if he plays, he'll play bad. But I don't know. I just think anybody expecting him to be, but like I was saying, like Kyle didn't pick Brock. He kind of had Darnold in mind this whole time. Mm-hmm. And he made this stupid Steve Young comment about him, about Sam Darnold's the best QB since Steve Young. I'm like, oh God, I hate that stuff. But
and even
shows
Greg
where
Papa,
his mindset is.
Right. And Greg Papa was talking about, some of the the physical abilities throwing the ball that Sam Darnold has. Again, Greg Papa's saying it. It's not that he's coming up with that on his own. He's getting that from in-house. And again, just one thing real quick. I understand if people want to be concerned or they want to question concussions. I understand it. Like I said, I'm someone that dealt with multiple in my playing career. So if someone says they have a concussion, I'm taking that as the word until proven otherwise. I've also seen people, we even had this in Atlanta, Troy Anderson, who was our starting linebacker this year. He didn't start feeling his symptoms till the next day. I know for Brock, it wasn't, I believe until they got into the air where he started feeling it. So,
I remember last year it happened for Hufanga where he had it. They cleared him. He came back in the game, and then the next day he was getting symptoms. So they can show up late for sure. Gina was saying that she needs D to be on point, especially for a date night.
Congrats on the sex, Gina.
What's your name for Wednesday, Jordan?
Oh, it's just right here. Right?
Hump day.
Congrats on the sex, Gina. Congrats.
Oh man. Let's see here. There you go. Wednesday. Dan says, well, he shouldn't play. Yeah,
I really don't think he should.
I don't think he should either. But we'll see. I just Kyle, if he gets his chance, he's going to play with his toys.
Oh yeah.
Even if they all end up broken. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. It just,
like I said, I don't disagree with that. Like, I mean, again, like I said, I played a position where I got hit in the head, damn near every play. I didn't get a concussion every play, but again, like I said, if someone says they have a concussion, I gotta believe it until proven otherwise. I just have to.
Oh, another way that Jimmy G and Brock Purdy are like, it's funny how Jimmy G went into concussion protocol after throwing 3 interceptions in Vegas.
Well, he can't go on a concussion protocol every single week.
That's right.
I mean, my gosh.
Like, well, then it was his back. Then it was, my back.
Yeah, my back. Exactly. My neck and my back.
But he still leads the league with 7 interceptions in only 5 games. So good for you, Jimmy. Can't say that was surprising. I pretty much called that anywhere he would go would be a step down from here. But especially once the Raiders lost Waller, I was like, oh, that's a huge loss for Jimmy.
I agree with it too. I said, look, well, what had worked the best for Jimmy G? Throwing to a really good tight end. So now you're going to trade a really good tight end as soon as he gets there. Also, I mean, there's a lot to be said about Josh McDaniels too as a head coach, but that's a topic for another day.
Ty says claiming concussion is a new way to protect your QB. Yeah, it seems like it's all the rage.
Do you realize how many concussions I would have said Desmond Ridder had already? Look, there's only one game last year I would have said Marcus Mariota didn't have a concussion. That's when we played the 49ers. That would be the only game.
Us up. I know. He ripped us a new one, man. It was terrible. It was like, was he like 11 for 13 or 13 for 15 or something ridiculous? You guys ran all over us. You threw all over us. It was
the scoop and score before half, I believe.
Well, yeah, it was that Jeff Wilson Jr. fumble 6. That was what really killed us. Yeah. Dan says, not if, Ted, when Sam loses and loses badly, I'll be here for the rant.
Hey, I'll tell you this much. If you have a 49ers rant, Dan is the person you need to have on for that rant.
Yeah, Dan, tentatively we're booked for next week. I just hope it doesn't happen. But yeah, like I said, my heart says no, but my head is like it's totally happening. I'll let Dan have the whole screen to show that rant. There you go.
I'm telling you. He's the perfect person.
Nice. That's a shirt. It's coming. Oh, pause. Look out.
Oh my God, Ted, what are we doing?
Ty's about to make it happen. The shirt is inbound, folks.
I need it.
Ted's grinding. You bet, Frank. Tom Ocean always grinding. Having fun, though, too. That's the key. Jimmy G had a concussion when he played the Falcons last week.
Like I said, if that's going to be the new excuse, how many concussions has Jimmy G had? While he's been playing quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, many. Ted is good today for coming clean. Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? It was so obvious. At least we figured out who it really was. I'm like, who is this wise impersonator showing up at meetups? That was the part I'm like, wait, who does that? Nobody does. Man. And like, how would Chapman and Breezy just totally go for it? That doesn't make any sense. Now it makes sense. That's enough. There you go.
See, I said, Dan's ready now. I'm just telling you, opened a can of worms about a rant.
Nice. I love it. Good. Well, seems like we've pretty much covered. Well, was there more stuff we want to talk about your Falcons? We barely dipped on them. I mean,
oh no, it's good. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they protect the ball. They win games. This defense is really good. It's a top 10.
Who'd you say you guys are playing this weekend?
We're playing Tennessee this week.
Tennessee, that's right.
Yeah,
okay,
Tennessee this week. There might not be Ryan Tannehill playing a quarterback. They just traded Kevin Byard. Y'all know it's the Eagles. It's either going to be Malik Willis or
the young guy, Levis.
Will Levis from Kansas.
Mayonnaise in your coffee.
Exactly. Exactly.
Eating whole bananas.
Yeah, he's that boy's something else, man. Let me tell you that much. He's something else.
Weird. I get the mayo in the coffee part because, like,
you do.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why. Because when I've been out of half and half, I will do a little bit of butter, like, that bulletproof coffee, and then I'll still add a little milk too to kind of give it the right flavor. But like milk just doesn't have enough fat for my coffee. I like half and half or real cream, whatever. So once you're on the butter train, then mayo is just a little one more step. It's just some good fat to add in there, and it's got a little saltiness like the butter does. So it's not that far of a stretch for me, but eating a whole banana, how do you eat a banana peel? Like, come on, that's crazy talk.
We're done. We're done. We're done.
Wise impersonator.
Oh man,
everybody's loving that one.
Yeah, the only thing I put in my coffee is protein powder. That's it.
There you go. Well, that's the one benefit of adding something like a half and half or like butter or whatever it is that if it cuts the acidity, then it's better for your teeth. I've been to the dentist and they're like, oh, you don't drink coffee, and I'm like, oh yeah, I drink 2 cups when I wake up and then 1 in the afternoon. Usually, if I have a late afternoon show, I usually have a cup before that. And they're like, oh, there's no staining. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I put half and half in and it makes it less acidic. And they're like, oh yeah, that probably is what it is. And I'm like, so there is a benefit to it besides the flavor, which is that coffee is very acidic. And it's funny because people will say like, oh, sugar rots your teeth. But really the way sugar rots your teeth more than like the actual eating of the sugar is like if you eat it and you get acid reflux and the acid from your stomach comes up and gets in your mouth. That's the worst part. Acid is worse for your teeth than sugar by far.
So we hit all different points today. We got some
dentistry. That's going to be on my TED Talk Grub show when I spin that off.
There we go.
Then it'll be TTG brought to you by TTG. It'll be.
I love it. I love it. It's already ready to go.
It is. It's ready to go. As long as they want to be a part of that, we'll have to.
Right.
Out. They may only want to be a part of sports. The food thing could be too controversial.
Sure.
But I just figure, not everybody's a football fan, and even less of them are Niner fans. But everybody eats, so you got a bit wider of a target audience that way. So
exactly.
Yeah, I like I said, with the whole Twitter thing and YouTube, my whole goal is to learn, teach, and have some fun doing it. definitely had some fun today. I did try not to be the butt of jokes like I was today, but hey, as long as people had fun, and hopefully Wise and Mo's aren't too pissed at me over it. And I'm glad we got to have some good laughs, and at least we figured it out and stop doing it. That's the other thing too. Is like, I made a mistake, and then don't repeat it, Ted. Don't keep doing it again and again. So, sheesh.
Oh man.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. The show gone wild. Yeah, we definitely went off the rails for a minute there. Show needs to stay in Vegas. I've been banned from Vegas straight up. I haven't been in many years. I have a few too many bachelor parties and things like that. No roofies like in the bachelor party movie, but like a lot of the other stuff rings true. I'll just say that.
I thought you meant you wanted roofling. Man, no. I gave you the wrong drug.
Yeah. No, yeah. Too much.
Shout out The Hangover if you've seen the movie, you'd understand the reference.
That movie is a classic with the tiger and Mike Tyson. And, so good. And the guy in the trunk of the car.
Ken
yeah,
Jeong.
They do this right. No doubt. And thanks everybody for showing up today. Thank you, Jordan. It was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again soon.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks Gina and Rod and Unk and Dan the Man, everybody from Sports Off and Chill and Red Jet and Danielle and Bryant Culp and Mick Niner and we had a great Philly Bowl entertainment.
Unk
had that's Unk. That's right.
Yeah.
Tanya Seau in the house. I think we got most. The great one, and also Bill Nye the Science Guy. Our two brawlers that were duking it out. I hope you guys settled your differences.
Great combo.
Come on back and argue again next time. It's always good to have interaction.
Yeah.
I like it as long as you guys don't get too mad at each other. That's the main thing. It's all just football. We're all, I think most of us are Niner fans, except for Jordan here, Falcons. But good luck to your Dirty Birds until you play us, which I don't think would be until the playoffs.
It'd be the playoffs, yeah.
We'll see. That'll be interesting. But good luck till then at the very least. And thanks, Jordan. It's a lot of fun. I'll say peace, go Niners. You want to give us whatever you Falcons folks say?
Oh, yeah, say rise up, go Dirty Birds. And again, like I said, everyone that's reached out, given some condolences to my family, again, I really do appreciate it. It means truly a lot. We're going to make it through. It's a tough time, but it's also at the same time as it's tough, it's a time for celebration of a phenomenal life of my grandma. So again, thanks everyone. Really do appreciate the love and support. And Ted, again, thanks for having me on. Really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And RIP to your grandma.
Thank you.
And to your family, condolences. And and we'll catch up soon. And thanks again for being here. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much.